It's been a while since I did a collection update, and I don't have a joke for you. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing really well. I got a little cat here trying to sabotage this video. Let's see. Let's check in with the cooker. Aww. She's pretty happy in Papa's arms. But she doesn't want me to be hanging out with you guys shooting a collection update. Can you believe this cat? Alright. That's enough. Don't push the tripod around. So, I've been kind of on buying hiatus, but temptations get the best of me. I'm kind of like really dirt dogging it, finding some real like cheapo releases. So, I don't really have any gems to speak of whatsoever. Just been kind of picking up little $5, $10 things here and there. Mostly CDs, couple LPs, etc., etc. I got a VCLT from my main man Dave. I don't know, update on the channel. I just finished putting the order in for all the t-shirts. So if you missed out on a Brain Smasher t-shirt, you're done. You're done. You fucked up. Maybe next year or something I might like offer a reprint or something, but Marty Worm will be getting those printed up here soon and sent out to all you guys, so I'm pretty stoked about it. I really like how the artwork turned out. What we are listening to in the background I chose for kind of two reasons. Matt, The Dark Path, his last collection update, he talked about this band, but I don't think he had heard this album yet. Talking about Karova's Kiss in the Charnel Fields, which is one of my favorite, like, just avant-garde, total fucking wackadoodle, total artsy, fartsy, Black Death, just proggy kind of weirdness. Love that album. It's a masterpiece. So they followed it up with Dead Like an Angel, which came out on Napalm Records in, playing this game again, 96, maybe 95. Yeah, really, really weird stuff. Very synth heavy. Very, it's the kind of thing that really got bad really quickly towards the end of the 90s. And I kind of feel like these guys had a ton of good ideas, but they were kind of getting chased around by a lot of other people trying the same things. And the playing field kind of got watered down by a lot of people trying to add extra orchestration and instrumentation and kind of like non-metal elements, let's say, kind of techno, industrial kind of stuff to their style. I wouldn't necessarily say this really has any trappings that are like industrial or techno whatsoever, but things that are kind of adjacent and like sounds and elements and ideas that kind of don't belong whatsoever in anything remotely black metal can be found here. And I think it's fun. It's kind of circusy and odd in a lot of ways. And I will circle back to this when I talk about another release shortly. So Matt, this is for you. Pretty good record. Pretty weird. Not the kind of thing I think a lot of people who subscribe to my channel are going to be into. But I'm here to challenge you to listen to weird shit and bad shit even. And you keep coming back, so something must be working. Now where do we start? I got CDs, I got LPs. So Ulcerate have a new album out, I think, this year, somewhere around there. And I've been hearing a lot of great things about it, but I kept kind of holding myself back and thinking, like, do you really need the new Ulcerate album? You don't have any other Ulcerate albums. I have listened to a couple of other Ulcerate albums in the past and been pretty intrigued to check out some of their stuff. So I was like, tell you what, let's get into Ulcerate for real. Let's kind of go back and get some of their older records. So I wound up picking up a couple of them on the cheap on Discogs. This is the Shrine of Paralysis. Is that the one? Shrines of Paralysis. Came out in 2006 on Relapse. So I'm sure a lot of you are maybe more familiar with this band by way of a more kind of tech death sort of angle. And I don't really get off on a lot of that, any of that kind of stuff whatsoever. I mean, like Origin and that kind of stuff. I kind of get my rocks off with the brutality in a lot of other ways, but the technicality of a lot of modern death metal is just really overly wanky, and I don't really care. But Ulcerate kind of do they do it in an interesting and different way. Their drummer is insanely talented, just flawlessly executed, endless ideas, and it's super interesting and intriguing to follow his patterns and just how he divides up all these different sections and phrasings, and that's just like I think what the main appeal of is technical death metal is. You get to hear, like, you can just barely understand but be challenged by the different technical aspects of the music. But as far as being like emotionally moving or visceral, usually a lot of that kind of stuff just kind of like isn't there for me. But where Ulcerate is sold to me is the very, very dissonant, howling kind of swells of guitar work that is, I think, very different from a lot of other tech death bands. I find myself a little bored by the vocals in Ulcerate, but I think that's kind of by design. I think they want you to pay attention to the technicality and the music. As with a ton of death metal bands, you know, the vocals are just kind of like pasted on top for you for funsies, and the music is really, really the meat and potatoes and what we keep coming back for with bands. So their guitar work is very, very fascinating, very dissonant, atonal, not technical from what I can hear. I would be interested, actually, come to think of it, I have watched some live footage of Ulcerate, and it is pretty interesting, especially from the drummer's perspective. But yeah, pretty unique band. Just kind of always meant to pick up something from these guys, but never really felt like, you know, shelling out full price for a new one. So actually this, I think, pressing is kind of rare. I see people paying quite a bit of scratch for this. I think, I don't know, is Relapse like keeping this out of print so they can do a fucking mega swirl vinyl coffee mug fucking whatever? I don't care. Spent $5 on it. Also picked up The Destroyers of All, also from Ulcerate. I want to say I kind of like this one a little bit more. I've only listened, I've listened to them on MP3 10 years ago or something. And this one, whenever it came out, a couple of times or so. And like, it seems like a band also that doesn't really progress much. It's just kind of one of those bands that you kind of want more from every couple of years, and you get it, so you keep coming back. But I don't really see this band progressing much outside of what they're doing, and I would like that. I would definitely encourage that. But Destroyers of All came out on Willow Tip. I think I gravitate towards this one a little bit more because I find the guitar work maybe a little bit more decipherable on this one than the Shrines of Paralysis album. But yeah, I'm pretty glad I picked these two up. Interesting band. Will I pick up the newer one? Maybe if I see it in the used bin or something. It's, again, they're like, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just not the kind of genre that really makes me pull up my wallet and say, give me all you got. So a new-ish record store opened up over in Davenport, which is a city I'm now closer to and enjoying visiting pretty often. And they had a record store that closed because of flooding back in 2018, and so they're open again. And their vinyl section, the metal vinyl section, is seriously just trumps anything I've seen in Chicago, for instance. It's fucking insane. They're doing such a great job, and I hope it's being supported by a community of people buying that stuff. Like, I can't believe that I live in Iowa, and half an hour from where I live, I can go to a record store and get pretty much every single Dark Throne release on vinyl. It's fucked up. I can't believe it. So, Ragged Records, thank you so much. So, on my way to Chicago, I visited there. We go there on the weekends fairly regularly, so I pop in every once in a while, and I guess this is me here admitting that this is now my main record store. Let's admit it. So they have a used CD section. They have it sectioned off into metal, which gets my fucking heart pumping. They've got a lot of killer stuff in there, some obscurities that I'm not super familiar with, some stuff that's pretty overpriced, but it's just awesome that at any time I can drive half an hour away from here and dig through some used CDs that are metal. I need that. It's a visceral thing that helps me get through the days of dread. So I just kind of picked this up on a whim, thinking, nah, this is a band I've ho-hummed in the past, but I was very young. And since then, I have gotten way into Nahema, and I felt like I would kind of reconsider my feelings on Himmelbjorg, which is the succession to Nahema. And I just thought, as long as they have that amazing guitar tone that Nahema is known for, and that kind of grim, monochromatic black metal sound to it, I'm in. So I picked up this album. It is called In the Raven's Shadow, and that's there. The guitar work is very, very familiar for a Nahema fan. But I gotta say, this fucking album is boring. There's not really much riffs to speak of. There's a lot of kind of enslaved, clean vocal kind of stuff that I find pretty boring in this context. So I've heard others say some of their other albums are a little bit better than this, but it's kind of confounding, isn't it, that an amazing band like Nahema followed up and just kind of went bleh, for don't they have 4 or 5 albums, and I think they actually recently reformed. I don't want to poo-poo all over that too much. It might strike my fancy someday. I'm not really expecting it. But side note, Nahema, some label, did just put out a Nahema Demos collection. I believe it was only on CD. Kind of thinking about picking that up. So for you diehard Nahema fans, if you are unaware of that release, check that out. Might see that in a collection update coming up. So another album, as I've been just kind of, this part's fucking cool, going through my old school MP3 collection, since I haven't really been downloading much of anything because of the internet situation here. I've been rediscovering a lot of favorites, and we'll get into that a little bit further. So what I do is I just kind of go through my 20 years of MP3 downloading collection, and I just kind of pull out some random shit where I just go, I don't know what this is, or I haven't heard this in 15 years, or I would love to hear that again. A lot of it is stuff that I do have on CD, etc. But so I threw this in kind of knowing just a little bit about it and remembering a little bit of the tie-in, and I listened to it and it fucking blew me away. And then I remembered that I loved this a long time ago. The band is called Anu. This album is called Opus Funerum. And Graveless Slumber Records put this out. Jewel case is kind of fucked up. It was recorded in 2008, let's just say 2009 or 10, somewhere around there. East Coast US black metal. Very, very reminiscent and in the vein of Demon Sea. I believe this guy even at some point twilighted as a live member, or maybe just an album session member. Demon Sea has a lineup to just everybody's been in Demon Sea apparently. But sick shit. This is one of those albums that is very, very dark and satanic sounding. I know you guys are just fucking cringing at this, but I love it. What was I gonna say? there's these interludes, kind of like Asheron's Rites of the Black Mass, where like in between every really good song is this like cryptic catacombs kind of sounding synthy kind of thing, which I could just fucking delete all day long. But this can be had for very, very, very cheap, and I recommend you check it out. Just really, really bare bones, grim American black metal. Super well done. Songwriting is very, very good. I'm a music reviewer. The songwriting is very, very good. It's not one of those things that like relies on how nasty or cavernous it sounds to be clever or sell its idea. It's good. The music is awesome, and it's fucking sick satanic black metal that stomps Christ in the nards. Kind of along the lines of this weird shit. It's kind of funny that I even bought this. I've had a promo copy from Napalm Records America for the longest time, and I was like, you know what? I'd kind of like to have the jewel case edition of that album so that I can see all the pictures in the booklet. So that's what I did. Found a sealed copy of Ebony Lake's On the Eve of the Grimly Inventive. You heard it right. Found a sealed copy of this for like $13. Came out on Cacophonous Records in 1996. So the artwork here can certainly throw you in a direction that would make you go, oh, no. And certainly lots of other releases that came out on Cacophonous around this time were fucking utterly trash, and the downfall of the label without question. Like there is definitely a Berlin Wall of eras of Cacophonous Records where they put out fucking gold over here, and something happened and they started putting out fucking 13 Candles and Twilight Ophera, and I had actually forgotten about this. So it comes with a catalog. This was a throwback for me. So my mom was a graphic design major in college, and I went to her classes with her when I was a kid because we couldn't afford a babysitter, and I helped her out with her homework, and she helped me out with my homework when I was a kid as well. So I kind of have a knack or an eye for a lot of graphic design, and I think that's what pulls me into a lot of physical media, and especially metal, for a lot of different reasons. But there's something like a stupid font on a catalog from 1996 that can just take me right back there. And that's the kind of nerdy shit that I love to share with you guys on this channel. Anyways, total sidetrack. Ebony Lake were a UK... What am I going to pigeonhole these guys as? I'm going to say this is a black metal band. Straight up. I'm not shitting you, this is a black metal band, but when I show you this band photo, you're gonna go, So yeah, fucking velvet smoking jackets, Hugh Hefner, fucking capes, the whole 9 yards. But these guys were absolutely insane. This album is fucking it's insane. I don't understand what the fuck they were thinking. I've never heard anything like this stuff whatsoever. It is... So, if I'm putting myself in your shoes and you're watching me tell you about this album, I'm going to think that this is going to be fluffy, symphonic, lots of violins and orchestral kind of stuff that's just boring and not what I want, and like totally dilutes the metal content of the album. And that is, I swear, not the case on this album. There is a lot of just noodly, kind of Bach-y piano interludes going on, but it doesn't dilute the metal whatsoever. It keeps on going concurrently. They just really cram these weird experimentation ideas, whether it's the like twin operatic female vocals going on. It's very, very piano heavy, but it's done in such a way that it's just crammed on top. It's a lot to take in. It's very intense, which is why I say it's truly a black metal record. I really, really can't recommend this album enough for the adventurous people out there. And I'm pretty stoked that I found a sealed copy of it for $13. Now I've got to decide if I want to get rid of my promo sleeve copy of it to a friend. I probably will. A lot of what I've been doing lately is just like upgrading copies of albums in my collection, honestly. It's just kind of something I do when I'm bored. I think, you know what, I've got this cracked case digipack of fucking whatever that came in a promo 100 years ago, and I'd like to just put it on my wish list and see what happens. I'm going on 20 minutes here, and I've only been through like 5 albums. We got a rip. I was working in the garage the other day. I put my phone on random, and this song came on, and it fucking just annihilated me. And I got on Amazon and found a copy of this thing for like $3. The band is called Nocturnal. I don't know anything about them. I know this jewel case is fucking beat to hell. Unholy Craft, Blood for the Glory of Satan. This is just probably US. Came out co-released by God is Myth, who is a good buddy of mine, Todd, and Black Plague Records, which are both US labels. I'm not sure if Black Plague is still around. So, yeah, I don't really know jack shit about this band, but there was one song on here that just fucking ripped me to shreds. I loved it and bought it immediately. But upon revisiting the album, now that it's in my collection, maybe just the mood struck me. Maybe it was just the perfect song. But I'm going to be trying this over and over and over again until it really sinks in. And I've been really listening to a lot more black metal lately. And a lot of other just kind of like weird stuff, old stuff here and there. So I've been like really kind of cherry picking weird stuff. I got my finger in a lot of pies right now, let's say. As you'll see with the stuff in this collection update. I was out fucking around, killing some time the other day. Went to some thrift stores. Like a Christian thrift store, I think even. Looking at their CD collection. And I wound up finding something that was unexpected. I didn't really know anything about this, but Divination, this just caught my eye. Dead Slow Ambient Dub Volume 2. Something about this, like I knew Subharmonic was a label that was somehow related to, I don't know, like the UK metal experimental scene. So this is Bill Laswell with Mick Harris, and like they only wanted, I think, like $1 for this. So I was like, all right, this is kind of a weird photo on the inside. Like I knew this was like straight dub kind of stuff, which doesn't do shit for me. And I put it on, and there are some very kind of soothing ambient kind of parts that I don't mind whatsoever. But then it'll switch into some dub kind of very, very dated techno kind of music. I'm trying to find a year on here. It takes me back to a time that I don't want to fucking go to. Just some very, very cringy, like mid-90s techno kind of stuff that just lacks any personality. There's some good moments on this album, and I don't know if I'll get rid of this. It's pretty weird. But Bill Laswell is one of those kind of experimental weirdo musicians that I've always wished I kind of had the attention span to understand, experience, and enjoy more of. So, pick that up. My buddy Dave sent me a care package just for fun, because I sent him also a box of goodies. This is a band I've been just kind of like circling the waters on or something. And their debut album is called Dark Waters Stir, which I still haven't picked up a copy of yet. I got their demos in from Kirk Productions, and that was fucking awesome. But so I was listening to a download of this one, and there's also another album I think that precedes this one. This is called Good, or Good, I don't know. Norwegian band. 2015 is when this thing came out. This thing riffs. This thing is all over the fucking place. Shredding, it's just full of amazing riffs. And I have a bad habit of like pretending that the time period of good riffs coming out of Norwegian black metal bands is over with. I think a lot of us do. But there are some bands still fucking carrying the flame, dude. And this is one of them. This thing is really, really good. I haven't unfolded this thing yet. Let's see what's in store. Oh, wow. They got really dressed up for that photo. How about that? So the album is good, and it is titled Good, and it would be good if you listened to it. So thank you, Dave. That was a fun treat. I need to get Dark Water Stir. I know a lot of people are a fan of that. So I just need to bite the bullet and fucking get it, instead of piddling my money away on shit like this. He also sent me this, like, totally unexpected release. This is paige, and they're split with Cosmic Reef Temple. This is a 45 that came out on Wave Guardian Records. So paige, I think a lot of people were pretty floored by their album last year, I think it was, Bushmeat, Total Autopsy Worship. More of that here. But Cosmic Reef Temple, weird. Pretty weird. Surfy, experimental death metal? Is it a bad idea to play metallic surf metal? No? Well, the paige stuff is cool. But the Cosmic Reef Temple stuff, jury's out. Let's just leave it at that. Comes on yellow vinyl. You've all seen yellow vinyl before, right? Nope, it's black. The center thing is yellow. That's why I thought it was yellow. So, yeah. Got another 7-inch from my buddy Cal at Grimtooth's Very Metal Things. Hyperdontia, Abhorrence Veil. This is their demo put on a 7-inch, and it fucking rips. If you're not familiar at all. Is this on yellow vinyl? Yeah, that's another reason I thought it was on yellow. Yeah, these guys are fucking sick. Hyperdontia are like, I keep going back to Nexus of Teeth. Probably once a week since that fucking thing came out. I fucking love that record. Absolutely head over heels for that thing. Just needed to pick up this one, and I don't know, I talked to a friend of mine on Instagram saying that like the good era of Hyperdontia was over with because some dude wasn't in the band anymore. I don't know. I'm probably gonna pre-order that new album because the guitar player from Taphos is gonna be on there. He replaced the singer and now he plays guitar and vocals. So we'll see. I'm a little skeptical. Like once Nexus of Teeth was released, I was like, this band could do no better. I don't ever need to hear anything that tries to eclipse that album because it's flawless. And I'm still kind of thinking that. Boy, I'm good at talking tonight. Also picked up this Devilry with Unspeakable Cults. I picked this up only because it's a Kirk Productions release. Greek black metal, pretty boring, pretty ho-hum kind of stuff. I really like Kirk Productions releases, and I thought maybe this would be really good, especially since that Mournblade album just fucking utterly floored me a couple of months ago. So, yeah, don't need to spend a lot of time on that one. Oh, here's something important and cool. My good friend just released this, When Bitter Spring Sleeps. The release is called Transmigration / Dungeon Metal. So Transmigration is 6 new songs that he's been working on for the last 2 or 3 years. It was kind of the pandemic time spent on this stuff. And his songwriting chops just get better and better and better with every release. It's been a while, I think, since he kind of had a transformative reinvention phase, which is something he's kind of done fairly regularly, and I think that's been a really, really healthy artistic practice for him in this iteration. But this also includes an EP that was released only on cassette last year that was called Dungeon Metal. And that EP, 5 songs. So there's 11 songs on here total. So the latter 5 songs are, there's a couple of kind of like experimental dungeon synth kind of things, but we were going to work on a really, really slow, dungeony, kind of doomy black metal kind of project at the start of the pandemic, and that just got kind of ruined. It ruined any of my involvement in it, but luckily he carried on with those ideas and worked on them and made something really, really cool. I really, really wish I could have collaborated on them more, but I was so just fascinated with Elastis's The Just Law at that time that I wanted to make something totally similar to that. But anyway, so I wound up contributing vocals to the song Tachyon Spell on here. So this just came out September 30th on Bandcamp. Nice artwork on the digipack there. It's got a little booklet in here. Great artwork on that cover. I really like that. It's got the old Pagan Flames logo, which I drew. Yeah, just a bunch of lyrics in there and stuff. Really, really proud of what he's been doing, and he's always cooking up new stuff. I hope now that we're vaccinated and can hang out again, we can collaborate on some more stuff. So another YouTuber, CJ Yakub, hope I'm pronouncing that right, hit me up and wanted to send me his band's demo. This is called Amon with The City. This actually impressed me quite a bit, and it reminds me quite a bit of stuff like this Korova. Now, it's very modern. It sounds quite a bit like a lot of kind of post-black metal-y kind of stuff, but it wasn't as predictable as I thought it was going to be. I've only listened to the first 2 songs on it so far. I've been very, very swamped with work lately, so I apologize that this isn't like a full review, but I'm actually really excited to dig into more of this. So I believe this is on Bandcamp if you're interested. It's just a lot of wild ideas going all over the place. I was kind of confused at first by how the drums were programmed. I know CJ is a drummer that plays a real live drum set. He also plays in Canis Diris. So when I heard the drum stuff going on here, I was very, very confused and interested. There will be a drum pattern that kind of leads up into a fill, where there's an obvious spot for a fill to kind of build up into the next part. But that fill is like an electronic sampling of his drumming, and it goes from being just like a live band sound into this kind of digital realm. And it's kind of got this like oil and water, to me, sort of dichotomy going on. And it's pretty really interesting. So if that sounds interesting to you whatsoever at all, I'll leave a link down below for you to check that out. So thank you, CJ, for sending me this. Looking forward to hear what you guys do in the future, because that integration of that electronical element is pretty cool and interesting. But on the completely different end of the spectrum, I ordered Worship Him from Samuel. Really, really. So like Elastis, The Just Law really reinvigorated my fascination with this band. Right now, this is the only sticker on the back of my car. I fucking love Samuel. So Elastis were a Swiss black metal band that kind of went tits up really, really quick. But it spurred me on to appreciate how fucking amazing early Samuel was. So Osmos Productions reissued this pretty recently, I believe. Let's get out the vinyl. Let's see the baby. Smoky clear, satanic clear vinyl. Pretty cool. Osmos has been doing some very, very nice, tasteful reissues of great stuff. So Nuclear War Now had copies of that, probably still do. I just got this in today. Haven't spun it yet, so I can't really speak to the sound quality. But they also have this Into the Infernal Storm of Evil demo compilation. 18 tracks on here for $10. It's a bootleg, but it sounds pretty good, and it's just kind of nice to have all the demo stuff collected right here in the collection. Samuel is fucking sick. Also picked this up out of the Nuclear War Now clearance section, and I was turned on to this many, many years ago when it came out, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, by Eric Bauer, who is a tremendous friend. So if you're an old fart like me, you may remember Cold Meat Industry was this industrial experimental label out of Sweden, and they had a compilation called Absolute Supper, and it was a very, very important time period for neo-folk, neo-industrial kind of martial folk, and experimental kind of black metal kind of stuff from just all different kinds of walks of life. Cold Meat Industry were very important for being the home for a lot of different artists that didn't belong really anywhere else. And that was such an important sampler. It was like a 2 CD black digipack. That was such an important sampler that Nuclear War Now and Iron Bonehead teamed up to put together a tribute to that sampler, which I think is an amazing idea. So check this out. There's Sinistris Diabolus doing Sacrifice from Aghast. That Aghast album is just fucking amazing. One of the most amazing ethereal ambient albums I've ever heard. I love it. We've also got Spire doing a song from Inslaughtered Natives. Temple Nightside, which is I think is an Australian death metal band, doing a song from Arcana. What? I love Arcana, by the way. Grave Upheaval doing a song by Brighter Death Now. Antediluvian doing a song by Raison Punctura. And Vasifor doing an MZ412 song. So, Eric really sung the praises of this a couple of years ago. I've listened to it maybe 1 or 2 times, but I am really stoked to have a physical copy of this. I want to give this like my full attention because the idea and the execution of this is just so fucking cool to me. And I believe Nuclear War Now has this for like $6 or so. I think it's also on vinyl. So I'm like kind of familiar with some of the bands on here. I'm kind of familiar with a lot of the material that they're covering. I love everything about this. Also picked up Hellbound Split with Amestigon. Arcane Archivist did like a, I don't know, there was a post on Facebook the other day or something where it said something like, what is the best black metal split of the 90s? And somebody answered Amestigon Hellbound Split. So I looked it up and I was like, well, I already love Amestigon. I knew that. Hellbound were a kind of side project of members of Abigor. So once I found a copy of this for under $10, I bought it. Hellbound were not very good. And Amestigon, their album Fear, fucking rules. But this material, it kind of bored me. So again, I'll come back to this someday and maybe appreciate it. But since I only spent a couple of bucks on it, I'm not too worried about it. I just don't understand why someone would say like this is the greatest black metal split of the 90s. I think somebody was going for cold points more than being real. So I also picked this up in Ragged Records. Pungent Stench, you've been caught buttering, buddy. Put down the butter. Yeah, never actually. I think all I have ever had from this band is Club Mondo Bazaar on cassette, which I got rid of aeons ago. I was surprised upon revisiting this album how kind of like southern New Orleans the riffing sounds on this. Like, I don't know, I Hate God riffs. I don't really listen to that band whatsoever, but I was really, really surprised to hear how different this band is. So, yeah, kind of a staple. This is a Nuclear Blast 2001 reissue. I'm sorry, guys. I put on the weirdest fucking stuff to try and get you guys to listen to it, but I know this isn't working on 99% of you guys, but it's that 1% that keeps me coming back. So thank you guys for putting up with me playing bullshit in the back of my videos, because I love it. I love this album. And I love Big Top Buttering. Alright, we're wrapping it up here. The greatest album that has come out this year. I'm floored by how great the new Halloween album is. I can't fucking believe how good this is. I listen to this every day, 5 times a day for 2 weeks straight. I still want to listen to it right this fucking second. I cannot believe how fucking utterly amazing the new Halloween is. I did a full review of this album for my Patreon. If you're curious, it's $6.66. And you can see all the stuff I've been putting out there on Patreon, Bill. Dude, just, if the only thing you take away from this video is that you buy this record, I will have done my work here. This album is phenomenal. Probably my favorite album of the year. Probably my favorite Halloween album. I think finally picked up this vinyl reissue of Machatta's Bloat. Are you sick of me talking about this band yet? So if when I say Machatta's, you think either The Provenance of Cruelty, which is that album that has like the Joe Patogno cover art with a stupid goat in a tunic reaching up to the heavens or whatever, that album sucks. That album sucks. Forget about that Machatta's. This thing fucking rules. Norwegian black metal at its finest. If you're a fan of Keep of Kalesen, Kvist, Satyricons, your Emperors, your Dimmu Borgirs, this is so that. And I can't believe how underappreciated this thing is. It came out originally in '94, Soul Cellar, remastered, and did the vinyl on this in 2013. Picked this up for $20. It's not a rarity whatsoever. The original CD is, but this is a band that kind of went to shit right away. So it's not surprising, I guess, that a lot of people are unaware that they have this incredible album sitting out there. Just black vinyl. But yeah, check it out. It's one of the greatest things I've discovered on my old MP3 hard drive of this year. This got me through just treacherous winter months this year. This is just like reinvigorated my love of Norwegian black metal from the 90s, which shouldn't take much, but this thing is so amazing. Machatta's Bloat. So I won't suffer you any more of the Korova Dead Like an Angel. But check that out. Squeezebox and that riff. It's clever. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Woo-hoo! That was a great video. And it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the never-ending, undying love and support of my Patreon subscribers, some of whom are... If you would like to be a part of supporting my channel and encouraging me to make more content that's as good as the one you just watched, join the Patreon. It's $6.66 a month, and I would appreciate your support. Thanks for watching either way.